We'll call the March 6th, 2023 meeting of Greenwood Board of Public Works and Safety to order at 5:30 p.m. Roll call, please, Amanda.
Mr. Colvin.
Here.
Mr. Hoover.
Here.
Mr. Rutherford.
Here.
Minutes of our last special meeting, February 27, 2023, have been distributed to members of the board. Any corrections, additions, or deletions from staff? Hearing none, is there a motion for approval as presented?
I move for approval. Second.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. First on our agenda tonight is the Strawberry Festival. Come on forward, folks, and we'll revisit this.
How y'all doing tonight?
Good, how are you?
Pretty good. I am Scott from Discover Old Town Greenwood. It's a group of merchants in Old Town Greenwood. So we're Discover Old Town Greenwood Merchants Association, and our very first event as an association is the Strawberry Festival on June 3rd. And we were initially before you previously about Main Street. And then after driving up and down Main Street several times, we don't think it's actually a good place to have the Strawberry Festival currently because of the asphalt and everything being so uneven. And I'm afraid if we have lots of people walking through there might be some issues with tripping or anything like that. So why we are here today is the plan B we came up with is Madison Avenue between Euclid and Broadway. So Broadway would remain open and Euclid would remain open. And then in between those 2 points, which close the street, and then the city parking lot at the city's parking lot at Broadway is what we would use for the food trucks, the strawberry tent, the food trucks, the strawberry tent, the portalettes, and seating for the general public. So that way, the street, Madison Avenue, the vendors could tear down as quickly as possible, get the street reopened, while the parking lot, the tent tear down will take a little bit longer. The street closure would be from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. to allow the 50 vendors to set up and tear down. The actual event will be from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. So they would have 2 hours to tear down and 3 hours to set up during this process.
Well, I appreciate your patience with us as well. I know we've kind of given you some tasks to help inform us a little bit better, and it seems like you met all of those. And appreciate the Main Street issue. I think this sounds like it's a good resolution of this. So why don't we make, my suggestion was that got the flyers, it looks good. Obviously, you're gonna have to do some of the notifications with community service development for notifying everybody that needs to be notified. But any other questions for Scott? Paul's here, kind of on board as well, I'm assuming, aren't you?
These are all the people that are going to help us pass out information to all the residents.
Well, I'll move for approval. So.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Good luck.
Very good luck to you.
Thank you. We hope to see you all to Greenwood's very first Strawberry Festival.
Absolutely. Thank you. Next, we're gonna go to Dale and Ann Duckworth, 1185 K Drive. Got deja vu, we saw you last week, didn't we?
Yes. Now, we were concerned about the drainage on, there's a 4-acre field, natural gas pipeline running through it behind our house. And it's kind of a low area anyway, but when the house on the picture there was built about not quite 3 years ago. And from that point on, the drainage has been very bad. These are 3 pictures that show right is actually looking to the south. And the other 2 are looking to the north.
And there's a pond at the end of that. We should have taken a picture of that, but that's where it's supposed to go. It's on that toward the pond.
So your house is south of the picture, the structure we can see in the pictures, is that right?
We are
Next
I'm
door,
sorry, south of what?
that house, are you next door to that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're actually, just a little to the east.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So then I sent some new pictures today. These were pictures from last year.
Right.
So.
We got some with just the recent rains.
Wait a minute, the one on the left might be from today. It looks very similar to that. It hadn't started growing algae yet. But at this time of year, it starts just standing for whenever we get it next drought.
So the other thing you can see in the middle picture is that the excavation on that lot was that they changed the slope of the yard so much that it's really not able to be mowed. And then there's some washout that has occurred that further blocks the egress of the water toward the pond. So it creates ponding on a frequent basis, even on relatively mild rains. But when we had one like we had last week, then we had
We have spoken to the neighbor that's in that home several times, and she did talk about, trying to dig out more. I'm not sure, but the erosion, the neighbors on the other side of them are elderly, and they're very concerned about this. They keep coming to us, asking us when we're going to come to you. And so it's kind of been an issue for several years.
I think this issue's been brought before us several months ago, wasn't it? That's what I was thinking. We recognize some of the similar pictures.
yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yeah.
Care to weigh in on this?
Sure. Yeah. For the record, Chris Jones, Director of Stormwater Management. Well, as you know, Stormwater Department maintains all of the pipes within the city. Rear yard, side yard, swales, and easements are not responsibility of the city. I've spoke with the property owners and asked them to come in because the recorded plat for this subdivision states that the Board of Works can direct the property owner who the property has the obstruction to remove that obstruction. And if not, within 10 days, the Board of Works can have that work performed and only be placed on that property.
Chris, is it just one property that you think is that issue, or is it that has created the obstruction? Or can you tell?
Yeah, it's really not the best design. And as you can tell by the pictures, it's quite an aggressive slope, but yeah, that last house that was built, some of those spoils kind of ended up into that drainage swale.
And I feel for those people there. It's probably the builder or developer that put it there, but if you buy what you buy, it becomes their problem. Questions for Chris or for Mr. Duckworth?
There's one other thing I can do. So, yes. With the erosion there, it's created, it's increased the number of occurrences. So I know the woman who had the house built did the subcontracting herself. So I don't know whether there's any recourse to go back on the guy who did the excavation or not, rather than on the homeowner. But still, I guess bottom line is it's still her responsibility.
Yeah, and if there is, maybe she may have some avenue to do that, but I don't know that.
Sure. Right.
We're not connected, so the only one we can go to is the right property. Thoughts?
Well, I would make a motion that we direct the stormwater department to contact the neighbor who has the obstruction, asking them to clear it within a given period of time. If not, then instruct them that we would proceed with the removal of that obstruction.
I'll second that. Further discussion? So Mr. Duckworth, we want you to understand that that's kind of a lengthy process.
Sure.
We understand.
And
It's already been a lengthy
Yeah, I know.
process.
I do for it. Thank you for your patience, but, Mr. Jones and probably work with the legal department of seeing what might happen here to get it taken care of. So,
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. Thank you. Next is Worthville Commerce Center. I understand that Eli Miller is going to be joining us instead of Sean. Miller,
I'm on the line. Eli Miller's here with Scannell Properties.
good evening. Tell us what's going on.
Good evening. So we come before you this evening to request release of our performance bonds on Building 2, Lot 2, acceptance of our improvements, and acknowledgement that we are complete and that the maintenance bonds are in place.
Mark, anything out of the ordinary we need to know about?
Yes, there's one thing on this. There's a crosswalk at the intersection of Collins Road and Allen Road that was supposed to be done with this project that has not been constructed yet. We caught it on the final walkthrough. They have been working with us on getting this installed. And so we ask that you just make subject to the condition of approval of the installation of the crosswalk area at the intersection of Collins Road and Allen Road. And approval of the same at the engineering division prior to the performance guarantee for the sidewalk pathway improvement. Public right of way.
Everyone repeat what Mark just said, or just make a motion?
Move subject to those conditions.
Second. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you, Eli.
Thank you.
Next, Derek Snyder at Crossroad Flats at Stones Crossing.
Evening.
Good evening.
Here on behalf of CRG Residential to request acceptance of the sanitary sewer improvements in the Flats and Stones Crossing, as well as 2 sewer mains in the eastern portion of Swartz Crossing. We're also here to request acceptance of the sanitary sewer as-bills for both projects, the maintenance bond for the Flats at Stones Crossing sanitary sewer, a maintenance bond for a portion of the Schwartz Crossing sanitary sewer, and release of the Flats and Stones Crossing sanitary.
And we have Paul Pioni's memo to us today's date, indicating that recommending an approval of that subject to receive the original maintenance guarantees and the off-site sanitary, subject to approval by the legal and engineering. Is that accurate, Mark?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Condition.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. Mr. Riddle, are you with us? Kevin? Kevin, take your mute off.
He has the mute off too.
Kevin, Mr. Riddle.
He's trying.
Okay.
Well, that's pretty straightforward.
Kevin, you can't hear us apparently, or at least you can't speak to us. We had, this is all for Pines of Greenwood, section 1, 2, and 3. I'm just requesting release of the maintenance guarantees for all of them. And again, Mark, these appear to be unconditional recommended approvals. Is that correct?
Correct.
I move that we approve the release of the maintenance guarantees for the Pines of Greenwood, section 1, 2, and 3.
Second.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Okay, Kevin, don't charge your client for this. You can hear me.
Can you hear me now?
Well, now we, oh, great, now you can hear. We
Well,
just-
I had to switch and I was on my laptop and for some reason it wouldn't work. So I switched to my phone. Hey, I appreciate it. That was an easy one.
Okay, have a good evening. Ken.
You too. Thank you.
Next, anyone from the audience wish to address us? Chief Coy. Evening, Brad.
Good evening, Brent Coy, Assistant Fire Chief, Greenwood Fire Department. Sorry for the late walk on, but thank you for your time. I'm here to request approval of an in-house repair center agreement between the Greenwood Fire Department and Scott Technologies. That's subject to legal department's final approval and then to authorize the mayor to sign that. Now, what that means in layman's terms is we entered into agreement with the people who we buy our SCBA packs from, you know, the things we wear on our back. We sent several of our members to class to repair those in-house. And by doing so, this just renewed our contract agreement.
Questions for Brad? Hearing none, I'll move for approval as requested.
Second.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks, Brad. Have a good evening. Mr. Hudson, you want to, excuse me, anyone else in the audience wish to address us? Either here in the room or online? Okay. Mr. Hudson, IDM?
All those with IDM and the Corporation Council has no request tonight.
Good evening. Mark?
Yes, the first item I have before you is an encouragement request docket. This is the same encouragement request you heard at the meeting a week ago. The engineering division has had a chance to meet on site with the property owners and the petitioner. They've resolved the issues, the concerns we had, and we're moving forward with a favorable recommendation on this.
This is the one about this.
Yes.
I would move we approve the request.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
The next item.
Thank you for working with.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. The next item is the 2023 annual paving project. Actually, do not have an update with you. We're still under review of the receipt bids we received that last Friday. So
Okay.
should have something for you at the meeting in 2 weeks.
Okay.
The final item I have are sanitary sewer special service agreements. We're asking that you authorize staff to prepare, authorize the mayor or deputy mayor to sign the sanitary sewer service special agreement for Elmwood Estates Section 4.
Any additional questions from Mark? Move for approval.
Second.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. That's it.
That's all I have. Thank
Thank
you.
you, Mark. Mr. Wright?
Nothing to say.
Thank you. Mr. Wright?
Move for approval of the claims.
I'll second that.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Passes. There's nothing else to come before us. We'll stand adjourned at 5:48 PM. Thank you all. Two 2001.
Isn't that crazy?
Might need to.
I know. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. You were on here.
Roll that kid.